By the way, welcome everybody. Hit those red hearts. It's so good to be back with you.
Yep.
It's been a rough couple weeks, and so it's great to be back with you. But man, I got a beef. Did you see that story today? Ken Martin and the DNC did the autopsy. What we did wrong in 24.
Yeah.
Big old report, and now they're not going to put it out.
I did see it, and I did see that you didn't like it, and I wanna say this is one of those times where you and I disagree.
Talk to me, educate me.
This is one of the times where the Democrats finally, are showing, their courage for the first time. Instead of spending the time, "Well, we got these guys on the ropes," when Donald Trump is doing everything wrong and we are moving from defense to offense, the last thing we should be doing, Joe, is looking backwards and spending, as Democrats can do, months and months talking about all the things that we do wrong, or we did wrong, or we should have done better, or whose money, pushed us in the wrong direction. Because that's what that fight is. It's about the super PACs wanted to do one thing and the campaigns wanted to do another thing. And it's inside baseball, and we will just pick at each other for months when we got them on the ropes. I'm like all for it. Just let it alone. It's inside baseball. It's politics. Well,
Okay.
let's just
Okay.
focus. We got them.
As everybody comes in, keep punching those red hearts. My brother here and I have a bit of a disagreement. The DNC spent a lot of money, and as parties do when they lose an election,
Yep.
did a massive research report, talked to 5,000 some Democrats around the country. Why'd we lose? What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do? So they come up with this big report, and now a year later, they don't want to put the report out. So my counterpoint to you is I don't think this is just inside baseball, but my other counterpoint is my biggest criticism of my new party is they're weak, timid, cautious, and not authentic. Man, I'd love to see the Democrats come. And by the way, we know what a lot of the report will probably say, what you and I have said. Democrats have lost connections with regular folk. Man, put that out there. I mean, show some strength. We fucked up. This is what we're doing now. But to hide their autopsy, to me, looks weak and timid and
I
afraid.
appreciate that. I understand it. I'm just telling you, the one thing that we are really good at and that we have done forever is to talk about our mistakes, how bad we are, and focus back on ourselves and do some grand navel gazing. And really, truly, at this moment, when that guy is out there giving a speech like he gave the other night, we got him on the ropes. We need to focus for it. And autopsy or not, I think we've won 23 of the last 25 elections.
Okay, that's the other point, brother. My fear is the Democrats can take back the House by just saying Trump sucks, Trump's bad, Trump's evil again. And the Democrats aren't going to learn anything. And they're going to go back to this posture where Trump is a threat, he's horrible, and that's all we got to say to win. I still think every election's a choice now, and the Democrats have to present something. And if you don't have the guts or the balls to put out there how you all fucked up last time, then it looks like you're trying to hide something.
Well, they probably are trying to hide plenty, but I don't care about that right now. I mean, in the candidate elections we've had, I mean, whether it's, Mamdani on this edge or Mickey Sherrill over here, they have talked a lot about what they want to do when they win and about their governing and that idea. And they haven't spent their whole time being negative.
Do you think Edwin Eisendrath, longtime Democrat, educate this baby Democrat, do you think the party understands what their problem has been in this age of Trump?
This is I'm going to go back to a conversation we had before. I do not think the DNC is synonymous with the Democratic Party. I think the party
I
is
agree
the
with that.
street. I think the party is made up of everyday people who are out there saying that what we ought to focus on is each other and our lives and making the country move forward. So do I care that the DNC may or may not get it? I tell you what, they don't get it. They don't get it because the composition is, as it is on the Republican side, there's too much money, too much money. Citizens United created all these super PACs which fund all of this stuff. And so they're never going to fully get it.
Forget the DNC. Do you think most Democratic elected officials understand how fucking elitist and out of touch their party has been the last number of years. Because I agree with you. The
Yeah, by
grassroots
the
is
way,
driving this
yeah,
train.
I do. I mean, I'm not sure I completely agree the whole party's been elitist and out of touch, but the what goes on in Washington has been disconnected from a lot of America for sure. And again, the party's out in the I mean, I don't feel that way about governors all over the country. I don't feel about it city council people all over the country. I think this
It's
Washington thing is a different animal. And
it's just Edwin, it's just such a weird headline when you think about it. And you may be right. Politically, maybe it's smart to just put it in the attic and never look at it again. But you lose an election to a madman.
man,
You've got real problems. So you head out on the hard work of trying to figure out what those real problems are, and you do it, and then you don't even put the report out. You don't let anybody see it. There's just something kind of weird. And maybe, Edwin, and I don't mean to beat this issue because Trump's a fascist and we have to defeat him.
yeah.
But like it maybe like the whole notion this is all political. Like you do this report, you talk to 5,000 grassroots Democrats, but then you play inside baseball and you don't put the report out. It just looks weird.
I think it's weird too. It'll pass. It's a day's story. It's a dumb story. I
I'm
mean,
done.
but
Get me
but
off it.
but look, I mean, I'm sure if they're talking to party people around the country, they heard, how come Joe Biden didn't leave earlier? Like, that transition screwed up everything. And, I mean, okay, great. So that's what we want to talk about now? No, no.
Yeah, I get, and then we'll put a wrap on this one. I guess it goes to, we'll find out. Democrats have lost twice to the most horrible individual who's ever run for president in this country.
Right.
The question is,
Lost twice.
yeah. And we beat him once, to be honest, because a once in a lifetime health crisis hit and Donald Trump utterly botched it.
Well, right. But whatever it is, the once in a lifetime thing is always going to happen to a president. Something he had the pandemic happen
And
to
he
him.
blew it. And
He blew it.
Trump could,
Right.
yeah, Trump could have used that to get reelected. But I'm hoping, and maybe you believe that Dems understand how they lost to this guy twice, and how even though you and I and everybody listening to us, we know how we're voting next year, but most regular Americans will poke their heads up 2 weeks before the midterm and they have to make a choice. And they're going to look this way and they're going to say, bad, horrible guy, he's an asshole. Now let me look at the Democrats. And last year, they said, I've got an asshole over here or an out of touch party that looks down on me over here. I'll vote for the asshole. It is a choice for regular Americans. And I want Democrats to be able to be an option.
I think we have our last few campaigns. I mean, not presidential for sure, but what we've seen in this last year are people who are really speaking to the real needs of people and focusing on how they can make their lives better. The stuff that you got to do. Um, uh, uh, Presidential politics are weird. They're just weird. We'll get to it again, but I'm confident that we'll have a primary, and that primary will help us pick candidates that are strong, that can really speak to people honestly and speak to people in a language that makes sense. You know, if this report isn't seeing the light of day, I'm sure it's because all the people who were criticized, and that would be the entire class of paid campaign folks, are desperate not to have it see the light of day.
By the way, for the record, everybody, for the last 6-7 minutes, Edwin and I have fundamentally disagreed on something, but look at what we just did. We just held a 6 to 7 minute respectful conversation about something we disagree in.
Yeah.
What else is on your mind today, boss?
Well, I determined not to watch the president's. I just like, why bother? But then overnight, I read like what a fiasco it was, so I couldn't help it. This morning, I got up and I watched it, and I'm glad I did. Like, who thinks they're going to convince America of anything when they scowl at them and yell at them and say, "You're an idiot. Don't you know everything's great?" And by the way, Joe, do you know what happened like 3 minutes before our show went on?
What?
the Kennedy Center board,
Oh, yeah.
voted unanimously to rename the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center.
He can't. He doesn't have the authority to do it.
Well, the board there did it, I guess.
Right. But again, this is like the Department of Defense to the Department of War. It was an act of Congress. Only
Was it?
Congress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only Congress can change an executive department. And the name of the Kennedy Center was a statutorial act.
Oh, that's great. Good.
No,
So
no,
he
no.
can't
So
do that. But I mean,
he
how did he carve his name in the Institute of Peace, right? He just grabbed a chisel and did it.
Exactly. That's a great point, Edwin. So yeah, everybody tuning in right now, Trump and the board, Trump changed the name of the Kennedy Center to the Trump Kennedy Center. Just again, newsflash, he does not have the authority to do it. But to Edwin's point, he just did it. They call it now the Department of War, even though officially it isn't.
It isn't. I mean, Trump pardoned a woman in Colorado who is in jail for trying to,
Yeah.
to fix the election machines to cheat for Trump. She's in jail in Colorado. He pardoned her. It's a state crime. He has no power to pardon her, right?
Right.
And except that his maniacs are going to run and say, "Why is she in jail?" and try and break her out. I mean, right? The reality is, well, back to the speech. It's really clear reality is not on display in the White House.
No, and that's some people got mad at me when I said last night, I'm not watching. Why watch? And my why watch is because he lies as he breathes. What's the point? How can you listen to a president who lies every time he opens his mouth? There's no point to it. I then did about halfway through, I was just dying. So I went and watched 2 minutes of it. And you're right, Edwin. It was an old man screaming at us. Like I said this, like he's put a plate of food in front of us that's gone bad. He's demanding we eat it, and he's hitting us over the head with a 2x4, telling us this is the best we've ever had it. Even for Trump, Edwin, it was bad stuff.
Terrible. It was, I mean, when you talk about elitist and out of touch, man, that man is out of touch. And just the whole way it looked, and he got there and he was scowling and angry, and like this is not going to, this, that's not how you win votes. That's not how you win support. That's somebody who knows the world is turned against him. Not the world wants to follow him, and that felt great.
So what was the
I'm
point
glad
of it?
I watched some of it.
What do you think was the point of it? Why did they have him do it?
I can't figure it out. Maybe because he said, "I want to," and not a single one of them had a better idea or was willing to give him one.
Well, yeah, and they're getting pounded right now. If the midterms were held next week, it would be the biggest blue tsunami ever.
Yep.
And they know that. And Trump, Edwin, part of his facade is, and I've heard this from his supporters, I'm a businessman. He's a businessman, Joe. He may be a jerk, but he knows the economy.
Not now.
He's fucking the economy up single-handedly.
Yeah.
And he's defensive about it. It's a hoax. You don't feel the way you really feel. That's not cutting it. So they needed him to go because he still is the voice of the party.
Something just happened. I couldn't hear you for a minute.
He is the voice of the party.
There you are.
He is the voice of the party, so they have to put him out there.
They have to put him out there. I mean, but he was crazy, and he's not. And I just all of it. I mean, and the 1776 bonus.
Did you hear about that one?
Today we learned that was a housing allowance, but if he's going to switch it to be a bonus, then he's going to take a benefit that Congress passed that would go to these guys that wouldn't be taxed, and now he's going to turn it into income that's taxable and put his name on it. I mean, it's just crazy.
He takes money to help house veterans, takes that money and turns it into direct checks to give to veterans. So he took from veterans to give to veterans. It's all he's been a con artist his whole life. This is what he does. The other thing, Edwin, last night, he said this again. Did you know he's decreased prescription drug prices by 600%?
Yo, I just got picked up.
That's one of my favorite. That's
I
one
really
of my
felt
favorite.
that. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
of
Oh,
his.
and you have to go to trumprx.gov to get it.
So I don't know. So my head when I went to bed last night and today has been don't laugh at what you saw last night. Just defeat it. Defeat it. Now, and I laughed a lot. Go ahead and
We can
laugh.
do both.
You can do both.
We can do
But
both.
but let's keep our head down. Last night was an utter joke. But keep our head down. He's still the president. He's got enormous power. He does lie about everything, and people believe his lies. And oh, by the way, he and his people and my former party are doing things right now, and they've been doing things for months to try to cheat in the midterms. So we still have to overwhelmingly win next year.
Oh, of course. Of course. I'm not taking my foot off the gas pedal, but he's helping us go from defense to offense. He's still very powerful and very dangerous. And your old party has given up on democracy and wants to do it in a different way. But I do
Yeah.
think fewer and fewer people are buying what they're selling. And that,
No, yeah, Edwin, you make a good point. You know, again, my background, I come from MAGA, so I still talk to hundreds of MAGA people every day. I got to tell you something, my friend. This week, it's hard to say Trump said or did something that made you pause, like, oh my God, that's unbelievable. But his response to the brutal killing of Rob and Michelle
that broke
Reiner,
through. That was so pathetic and awful.
that broke through. And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Edwin, his most hardcore supporters this week, most of them have told me he shouldn't have said that. That was disappointing.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't mean they're all turning on him, but that one got through.
Yep. Well, let's talk about Congress for a second, your old stomping grounds. Discharge petitions? Discharge petitions that are working and getting through? I mean, like,
Yeah.
when? Ever?
It's a rare
Right?
thing.
I mean, it made me think about Nancy Pelosi. She had a pretty thin majority. The idea of a discharge position, she would have taken those high heels of hers and just stomped on anybody.
It's Edwin, you and I've said this often. This past year has been what America looks like without a Congress. I mean, again, let's just be real. Mike Johnson and the Republicans, they work for Trump. They have ceded their branch of government. So it's called on members to do extraordinary things to try to get anything done.
It's crazy to see. It's just crazy to see.
Now, I'm trying to think. They passed that discharge. They haven't voted on it yet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But they have to now.
Set the date coming up.
Yeah.
So I just, you read when the Democrats were arguing about the Biden bill at the beginning of his term, it was Democrats in disarray. Democrats in disarray. I want to say it doesn't look like disarray now. They got some stuff done. They passed some bills. They argued about it because it's a big tent with a lot of room between Joe Manchin and AOC. But they got stuff done. And but this is real chaos.
This is chaos, but I want to make a distinction here. It's chaos, but when Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out a couple days ago and says the dam around Trump has broken, bullshit. This isn't Republicans turning on Trump. This is Republicans all fighting with each other to establish whatever footing they can establish. There's going to be no abandonment of Trump. Trump will never be a traditional lame duck. If you're a Republican, you want to win a primary in 26 or 28, you have to suck his toes. You have to worship him. That's not going to change, Edwin.
Well, you and I've had this conversation, and we have a meal riding on it. And I think there'll come a point when your former colleagues are going to let Trump be Trump, but I'm going a different way. And and partly because, these gerrymandered districts, particularly the ones they've recently done, are a little less red than they were before they gerrymandered them again. So I don't know. I think they're going to, being in the low 30s is a dangerous place to be, even for Trump.
But to win Republican primary. That's all these guys care about in most of these districts. Like my friend, our fellow Illinoisan, Adam Kinzinger, could never, ever win a Republican primary right now
Right.
or 2 years from now. I never could. Um, you cannot be opposed to Trump and win. I still think he's the kingmaker. Like, I think he'll anoint whoever the nominee is in 28. You doubt that?
Look, I told you, I think your old party is crazy, and I think their nominee is gonna be Greg Bovino because the hardcore wants a guy who's been out in the street aiming his gun at people like me and trying to round up people who don't look like
Yeah,
either you or me. I think
yeah.
that's what they want, and so I think that the guys like you so I don't know, and Trump may go that way, but he's gonna be, watching his own back, and his own back's gonna be in a lot of trouble by then.
Yeah, that is, it's really important that people listening understand it. What you just said, Edwin, that is the base of my former party.
Yeah.
That is where the base is. And generally, to win primaries, you need to capture the base. Same with the Dems. It's why, like, the energy is more on the progressive side right now in our party. I'd love to see a charismatic centrist grab a hold of something, but maybe that's
Well,
impossible.
not that I think that's what happened in the New Jersey governor's race. I think it's what happened in the Virginia
Hmm.
governor's race.
Hmm.
It didn't happen in New York City, but it would not happen in New York City. I mean,
No.
that's New York City. I
It should happen in the city you're sitting in right now, in
Oh,
Chicago.
we'll have a change. I mean, in our city, no question.
A pragmatic, let's get stuff done.
Which is
Business
what our
isn't
mayors
evil kind
almost
of.
always have been,
Yeah,
right? Almost always.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Is Rahm Emanuel going to run for president?
God, I hope not.
Me too.
I mean, talk about rip us apart. Oh my God, I hope not.
And by the way, Edwin, that just jumped in my head. I don't think he will. I know he wants to, but you get a sense that the party has really moved on from that era.
And look, for all of Rahm's talents, um, and his baggage, it's you don't wanna go back and refight old fights, you know? Like, I mean, you want Laquan McDonald to be a campaign issue in any way? You
I'll
know
say this, though, Edwin. I'll say this, and I apologize. I'm on some medication, so I'm all over the map. If Hillary Clinton came out and ran in 28, man, I think she'd be tough.
I
There's
don't know.
something.
I think we
No,
need some we'll find it in these primaries. We will. And there's a lot of energy, and it's gonna be very competitive. I got a governor in this state who's auditioned for the tip of the spear, and maybe
yeah,
that's where the country ends up by then, but there are others who've taken different paths. They're all everybody's sort of figuring out what the lanes are,
yeah,
and it's gonna be up to voters, and voters are gonna be seriously auditioning who this candidate is because Democrats wanna win. Oh my god. I mean, the base is hungry. And, in the last election, it was a little less so because Joe was there, and
yeah,
Joe was like, okay, we want to win. We'd rather Joe but nobody was just jumping over with energy because there
no,
wasn't any energy in the room, right?
no,
And this shift happened very fast,
yeah,
so without, the kind of primaries, I just think that there is a very big coalition of folks who are desperate to win and take back the reins of government and to do the things, not just to beat these guys, but to make sure this authoritarian stuff can never happen again.
yeah. That's
You
the
know,
most. When people ask me, that's the most important reason why Democrats need to win the House, to conduct oversight, to have hearings, and to hold accountable these people for what they're doing right now. That's Congress's job.
yeah. I mean, again, I don't understand why my senator, and I like him, Dick Durbin, didn't um, didn't have Jack Smith in there testifying when he was head of judiciary, right? In public.
Dick Durbin, a long, illustrious career. He's at the end of his career. You're right.
He knows it too. He's not
He
running again.
right. I think he didn't fully grasp this moment. Like a lot of the old guys,
Yeah.
the old guard
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. I mean, and not that he didn't know how bad it was, but the tactics that are needed right now are different.
Yeah,
They are a little
he's
bit
like, you're
more,
right.
although your guy Jim Jordan did not distinguish himself this week. I think he's lost his touch.
My
He brought in Jack Smith, and the headlines are all, here's what Jack Smith's testified to.
my former bosom buddy, Jim
Yeah,
Jordan. I say that with a laugh, but we were bosom buddies. And how telling, Edwin. Jack Smith wants to get in front of the public. Jim Jordan won't let him.
right.
Enough. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
End of story.
I am looking forward to the day. I don't know. Would you make Jack Smith the attorney general, or is that too is that too partisan?
No, that's a really interesting point, and that's the first time I've heard this. When the Democrats assume control of the White House again, I think they got to really play hardball.
I agree. I
A
agree.
Jack Smith attorney general would be a hell of a play.
Hell of a play, wouldn't it?
That's really interesting. Remind me, can Trump, when Trump's out of office, could he still be gone after for trying to overthrow the election, or is that gone?
Well, I
I
think
don't remember.
I don't know the answer to that. I
I
think
don't
the
either.
Supreme Court has shielded him in every possible
Ah,
way. You
okay.
know, we're going to get Jack Smith's report, I think, in January. Eileen Cannon has been hiding it in Florida, but her string runs out in January. She's been told by the appellate court she's got to release it. We'll see what happens, right?
And I could be wrong, Edwin, but I still have heard we're supposed to get a Supreme Court ruling on tariffs this month. And I'm
Yeah,
optimistic.
the Supreme
I'm
Court's,
optimistic.
in their own damage control mode. They took up birthright citizenship. I don't know why they took it up, but I assume they took it up to put it to bed. I don't think,
I
I
hope
think,
you're right. I hope that's why they took it
I
up.
hope that's right. Yeah. I mean, Trump is practicing already, thinking he's going to win it. So he said, we're going to start stripping citizenship from people who were given it. We're going to denaturalize people.
Is ICE still doing a bunch of shit in Chicago?
Yeah, they're back. But,
Yeah, they're
I
back.
mean, they never really left, but they amped it up again when he came back. But you know what? We're they are doing it. It's terrible, but they not once do they do it without people around them, people
Yeah,
photographing all of it, people
yeah,
telling them where to go, people trying to protect the ones they're going after. Um, um,
yes.
we have. I think we're going to win. I think 2025 was the high mark for American autocracy. Donald Trump is, courtesy of your Congress and the Supreme Court, the most powerful president we have ever had. And yet the rest of the country figured out we could be powerful too this year. And that was a really remarkable thing. And the reason why I think I am more optimistic at the end of this year than I was at the end of last year. I think I think we are going to move from defense to offense in 2026, and taking back Congress is one of the biggest ways we do it.
I hope you're right. Um, I think this, and then we'll end on this. I think the threat has
I'm loving the
metastasized.
dog behind you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mabel, my black labby. I think the threat has metastasized beyond Trump. It's now spread among my whole former party. And I don't see that. I know this is part of your and my bet. I don't see that going away for a while.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and if it doesn't, then the party goes away, and the Democrats will rebrand as the Democratic Republican Party like it once was, and
Yeah,
conservatives in America will have to get a new party. But
that's
the
actually
fascist
fascinating.
party's going out of business.
Hey, my brother, great to be with you. Everybody listening, subscribe to both of us. Help
Yep.
keep us out there.
And Joe, take care of yourself.
Thank you, my friend. Talk next week.
Bye.